Today be talking about No Leads Larry and his leads pipeline. Now, I know last time we were speaking on Larry's visibility engine and what he needs to do to be able to become visible. Larry's struggling in the ghost town trap, meaning that he's great on stage, he can kill it and crush it, but he just doesn't have a consistent pipeline of leads coming in. So when he's done speaking, it just dries up and he struggles to get that next event. So the way Larry is going to become visible is by and escape that ghost town trap is by going into his visibility engine and building it out to be a robust engine to help him have a consistent leads pipeline. Now, we talked last time about doing that through getting the right eyes on Larry. So let's start thinking about every piece of communication, every PDF, every book, everything, every video we shoot, everything that we put out is going to be an asset in our product and service ecosystem. Now, it may not be an asset that we get paid for, but these assets that we send out regularly, whether we get paid for them or not, are assets that help us build a robust visibility engine that will in turn help us build a robust speaking business. And just to reiterate, there's no right signal, there's no wrong signal, there's no perfect signal, there's no magic signal. Every one of these signals needs to speak to your avatar, one of your ideal avatars, and one of their pain points. So help them solve a problem. And as long as you're doing that, there's no right or wrong or perfect or magic signal. These will accumulate over time and just help us become visible to the people that we want to speak to. So each of these assets, we send them out in an email, on a podcast, a video, or whatever. The goal of each of these assets is to get them to your site. We want to get them to your website so that we can have on that website a place for them to exchange their information. So it could be a form on your website. It could be something they download in exchange for giving us their email and information. And then once we have their contact info, we want to secure that relationship by nurturing that relationship over time. Once they download one thing, we're going to send them other things that they might find of value. Now, just note some of your assets, your e-tension assets, they may get downloaded thousands and thousands of times, and others may only get downloaded once or twice. It's just the nature of the beast. But we each have to build our audiences this way. Everyone, no matter how large or small they are in their speaking business, builds out their business doing this system, this visibility engine over and over and over again. Be very consistent over time and you will build out a robust visibility engine. It is crucial whenever you're on someone else's platform. Maybe you're a guest on a podcast, maybe you're speaking to a local association or whatnot. And so you are quote unquote borrowing someone else's audience. It is crucial for you to be able to have within your talk or your message that you're sharing with that group some call to action, some CTA that would drive them to your site so they can exchange and give you their information. And you've seen this done, countless times. How many times does someone guest on a podcast, and at the end of the podcast, the host will always ask their guest, "Hey, where can people find you?" That's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to do that exact same thing to build out that visibility engine. Let me show you guys one of these e-tension assets and this framework of how me and a friend of mine are doing it. I have a good buddy, Stephen Rowell. He and I are in the speaking business, and he deals primarily with the corporate space and helping people grow who want to speak into the corporate audiences. So it's very parallel content to mine. I don't necessarily focus just on corporate, but I do love to help people get into those spaces. So Stephen and I are going to do a partnership together where he and we're sending out the first step on we're calling it a speaking business accelerator. The first part of this 4-part journey is we're sending out signals to a free quiz or an assessment that we have. So it's kind of a diagnostic tool to help speakers see where they are, see where some holes are. It's very similar to the quiz that's within the high-level speakers playbook that we all have. So we're going to send out signals, invite people to take this quiz. Within that quiz, one of the first things they have to do is exchange their information. So we're going to run ads. We're going to send this to as many people that we know and think of, post it on social media. So do a mix of free and paid ads to get people to take the assessment. Once they've taken the assessment, we're going to invite all of those people who took the assessment into a free webinar where Stephen and I will do a deep dive into some additional content. At the back of that webinar, our call to action is to invite anyone who wants to be a part of a 3-day challenge. And this will be a diagnostic tune-up to help them grow and diagnose parts of their speaking business that need to be repaired or enhanced or rebuilt. Now that 3-day challenge will have a small price tag of either 47 or 97. The 97 would be for people who want access to the recordings of the 3 days, as well as have a free office hour call with Stephen and I to answer any questions, either one-on-one or in a group setting. And then from at the end of the 3-day challenge, we're going to invite those who went through the challenge to join us for a 12-week accelerator. This will be an absolute deep dive into the specifics of what it takes to implement the tools and systems needed to build a robust speaking business. So if they want to accelerate their speaking business, learn the systems needed, learn the strategies to speak to corporate audiences, and just accelerate their growth, Stephen and I are going to give them a chance to do that. So this is one way of putting together a structured package from free to low ticket cost all the way up to a higher ticket cost. And there are countless ways to structure your offerings. You can do any number of things here. So it's really only limited by your imagination of what you could do and how you could structure offerings for your audience. So once we've done this, once you start to build out your visibility engine and you have leads starting to contact you and people contacting you, what do you do with that information? Well, that's where Larry's second tool comes in, and that's his leads pipeline. And now the leads pipeline lives within a CRM, and a CRM is a piece of software that you would purchase that's called, and CRM stands for Customer Relationship Manager. Now, while it is software, we often forget the importance that this is actually a relationship tool. Speaking is a relational business. So while you're using this software, you need to keep in mind that you are nurturing relationships. A CRM is going to move you from becoming just a speaker to owning and running a speaking business, because the reality is, guys, there is no way you're going to be able to remember all the emails you need to send, all the people you need to follow up with. You're just not going to be able to remember, when did I email this person? Did I email them on time? Do I need to send a follow-up? Do I need to send them anything before I arrive to do a speaking event? There's so many details and things that you just can't keep in your mind. So you need a place to store all that. And that's where your CRM comes in. As a new speaker, this should be one of the very first investments you ever make. And the good news is there's so many options out there, and I'll show you mine here in just a moment. But there are so many options out there that the barrier to entry is so low that basically if you would cut out eating out one meal a month, you could cover the cost of a really, really good CRM. Within Larry's CRM is what we call the leads pipeline, and that is where all of Larry's leads go. Leads is an acronym that stands for looks, expressed interest, appointments, delivered the contract, and secured the deposit. So this is the 5 stages of moving cold incoming traffic to Larry's site into a booked to speak event or a contact. So at the look stage, think about when you go to a store to buy something. You always have a sales associate come up to you and say, "Can I help you with something?" And if you're just looking and you're just kind of browsing, you're not really in a hurry, we always say the same thing. "No, I'm fine. I'm just looking." People at this stage, when they come into your pipeline, they may have seen a little piece of content you put out. They may have seen a video. They may have thumbs up that video, or they may have opened and read your email. And so anyone that's in this stage, they may even go to your website and fill out a form on your website. "Hey, I'd like more information on getting Clayton to come speak at my next event." I put every just very initial piece of contact into a look stage, because the reality is most of the people in the look stage, they're not going to pan out. It's a lot of tire kickers at this stage. They saw something about you, came to your website somehow or another, and they are mildly interested. Now, that doesn't mean that they will never book you or never buy something from you, but just right now, just know the term is churn. The churn rate for the looks category of the pipeline is really high. Like 95% of the people who come into this portion of the pipeline will never progress to the expressed interest. So don't lose heart on that. Just the reality is a lot of them churn, but over time, more of them will come back and you can progress them through the pipeline. And in a moment, I'll talk about how I nurture and the email cadence I send at each stage, just to kind of give you an idea of what's going on. So we have someone in the looks portion of the pipeline. The first thing we're going to do is send them an initial email. I have examples in Larry's super bundle of my actual emails that you can download. But that first initial contact is, hey, thanks for contacting us. Really excited for the opportunity to work with you. You can, depending on your preference, you can say, hey, for me to come to an event, and you can list a budget there and just ask, does that work within your budget? Or you could just leave the budget number off in the hopes of getting them into a phone call. So I love to end all of my emails in this look stage with, if you'd like, we could jump on a quick phone call, discuss your event in greater detail, discuss your budget, and answer any other questions you may have. And again, you'll have an exact copy of my script in the super bundle. So when I send that email, if they respond to that in any way, like if they respond back, oh yeah, I'd love to know a little bit more. Maybe they're not ready to get on a phone call quite at this point, but could you give me a few more details? Anytime they make a response, I move them from the look stage to the expressed interest stage. So what I'm wanting here, someone in this expressed interest stage, these are people who have responded to a one-on-one outreach from me to them in the looks category. So once they're in the expressed interest category, my goal here is to get them into the appointment stage, because I know that we're going to be able to answer a whole lot more questions a whole lot faster. There will be no miscommunication, no misinterpretation of dry emails. If I get them on a call, we can just build that rapport, build that relationship, and get them into that phone appointment stage where the real action happens. So my whole goal in every bit of email in the express interest stage, get them on a phone call. All right. So once we've scheduled that phone call in the expressed interest stage, then I'm going to move them to the appointment stage. And within your pipeline, you will have the ability to do tasks that are due. And I'll show you that here in just a moment, what that would look like. So your CRM is going to send you a reminder. You're going to open up your CRM on a random Tuesday morning, and it's going to tell you, hey, just a reminder, you have a phone call at 11 a.m. this morning with James to discuss an upcoming event. The appointment stage there is all about getting someone on the phone call. Now, here's the reality. You may be asking, well, can I just automate this at every stage and just, have automated responses and this and that? You can, but the reality is no one is going to book you to speak and pay you thousands of dollars and never speak to you on the phone. They want to know that you're a real person, that you're relatable, that you're kind, and that you're not a jerk, just being honest. Remember, the best piece of speaking advice to get repeat business that I ever heard came from John Acuff, when he was told by an event planner that they were grateful to work with him because he wasn't a jerk. So if you want repeat business, don't be a jerk. And that the people are just not going to book you at high ticket prices and not speak to you. So you're going to have to get over any reluctance you may have and just talk to people on the phone. So you're in the appointment stage and you find out you're a good fit. Then what you want to do is you need to put together a contract and deliver that contract to the client. Once you send them an email, hey, Susie, it was great speaking with you today. I really enjoyed our conversation. I'm excited for the opportunity to work with you. As promised during our call, attached is a simple agreement outlining what we discussed. Included on the agreement is my all-inclusive fee of what it would take for me to come do this event for you. Once you and your team meet, I'd be more than happy to answer any questions. But if all looks good, simply click here to pay the deposit or pay via check, however you want to accept payment. But you want to deliver that contract and attach to that email the actual contract or agreement. I prefer a simple one-page agreement with the date, the times, the location, and whoever the event host would be, and their contact information. Simple description, a couple lines of what it's going to be. Clayton's going to be giving a talk on his book, Parent Parables, or his high level speakers playbook, give maybe a few details about that. You can also list a few learning objectives that the group will meet, and then the price at the bottom. And that's really all it is, a simple one-page agreement saying, here's what we discussed, here's the date and time, here's the event location, here's the cost. And then within the email, I do include a direct pay link so that they can pay the deposit there. And then once they've paid that deposit and returned the signed contract, from there, we will move that contact into the last stage of the pipeline, which is secured the deposit. It's important here, once you've secured the deposit, the first email you want to send, when you receive the check or the direct pay link, send the contact an email and just say, hey, Susie, just wanted to let you know we received your deposit today. Thanks so much for trusting us to be a part of your event. We really look forward to serving you. Just for your records, here's a copy of the signed agreement. Here is a copy of a rider. Here's the things I'll need on stage. Here's a link to any promotional materials you may need to help promote the event or promote my time coming in. And then just simply say, I'll be in touch closer to the event. And then at this point, you have secured the deposits. You've moved them progressively through the stages to where you've now secured the deposit. Within my CRM, I like to include some touch points along the way, especially if the event is 3 to 6 or 9 months out. I love to touch base about midway through that 6 months. I'll touch base. And then as we're maybe 2 months out, I'll send them a marketing timeline with some promotional photos or videos. Hey, James, here's a marketing schedule and promotional schedule if you'd like to use this to help promote your event. Attached is some videos and photos that you can download and use in your promotional materials. I've found that event planners really like these touch points. It lets them know that you don't just view them as a paycheck, but you're really there to help and assist them in becoming and having a successful event. So they view you as a partner rather than just somebody who's looking to get money from them. And then 2 weeks before the event, I like to send a final invoice email. Hey, Bill, I'm excited to be with you on March 3rd. And just for your records, I attached a copy of the signed invoice. Please have a check made available to me in the amount of X number of dollars. Also, for your convenience, I attached a copy of my W-9 and also a copy of my rider and any other promotional materials you may need. If there's anything else I can do to help you, please don't hesitate to ask. And then excited to see you soon. And then the last piece of info that I send out is I set a reminder to a day or two after the event just to send a post-event thank you. Hey, Bill, I had a great time with you guys. I really liked when XYZ happened. And I hope that your group found joy and inspiration. If there's anything else I can do, love to be able to help you. So that's kind of the nature of all of my email communication through that. Once I send that thank you email, I close out that opportunity and have now successfully had one complete event go through the pipeline. This is pipeline management is kind of what this is called. And it is the unsexy, but the exciting part of the event. Because it's unsexy in the sense it really is just a set of emails and phone calls that go out through the event, through an event from the look stage all the way to the actual event and the post follow-up. But it's exciting because you get to see the progress that you make at each stage. So let's talk a little bit briefly now about the churn rate. At the look stage, 95% are going to churn out. They're not going to progress. At the expressed interest stage, you may have 20 or 30% that proceed to the appointment stage. At the appointment stage, for me, it is roughly 50-50. If the timing is right and the budget is right, it's pretty much a done deal. If those two factors are wrong or just off, it's probably not going to be a good fit this time. Now, it may be at some point in the future, but at this point, it may not be. But then when you get to the delivered the contract stage, you're looking at somewhere around 80 or 90% that will actually progress to the next secure the deposit stage. And then at the secure deposit, I hate to say that it's 100%, but it's definitely 95+% that will actually close. The reason I say it's not 100% here is you will get events from time to time that for whatever reason, out of no one's control, the event needs to be changed or canceled or moved. And as a speaker, you want to be understanding and respect their hardship, or for whatever reason, they just don't, doesn't work out. My goal is always to find a new date. I don't think I've ever had to return a deposit. For example, when lockdowns happened in 2020, all of our events that we had booked, they booked us for a future date because it was circumstances outside of everyone's control. And so we couldn't change that. And then so we all worked together. They didn't ask for their deposit back. We just honored that agreement on a future date. So we just kind of shifted everything to the next available date. So that's what I would do there. But that's kind of the churn rates through each stage. So here's what my actual dashboard looks like. When I log into my CRM every day, this top left photo right here is my dashboard. On the left, it shows the task in red that I have due today. Don't be upset or aggravated by things in red on your dashboard, because that's activity. It's showing that you're actually building a speaking business. It's things you need to do to grow your business. So each of these things, these tasks in red, they show up on an opportunity card within the overall pipeline. So the image on the bottom is my leads pipeline: looks, expressed interest, appointments, delivered the contract, secured the deposit. I have to black out the contact info, or YouTube will take the video down. But each of these black blocks represents this top right image. It's an opportunity card. When you click on it, it shows the event name, the contact info, and whatnot. It shows any task due. And when I say that I move one person from one stage to the next, my CRM allows me to just grab that opportunity card and drag it from the looks to the expressed interest, or looks to the appointment stage. So I just drag and drop as needed. Now, the question that I always get asked is, what CRM do I use? And that is, in all the groups I've ever joined, everything I've ever been a part of. And as I told you guys at the beginning, I have a PhD in online crap because I have bought stuff and been a part of masterminds and groups. And one of the number one questions that everyone in every group that I've ever been a part of, the number one question that gets asked is, what CRM, what pipeline, what place do you have to host your course? Everyone always has a software question. I've always felt like I've been held captive by all the tools and assets that are available out there for us as speakers. So ultimately, I just built my own. I built the High Level Speakers platform. So this is my dashboard within my platform. It is available as an option for people to buy and subscribe to. We will talk about that later when we get to talking about Carla, as we kind of wrap up our mastermind and our sessions here. But it's not really important which one you choose, so much as you choose one that has the tools that will serve you and the audience that you're trying to reach. I wanted one platform that had all of my leads, had all of my database. It had the ability for me to email all of my people within the database. I wanted to be able to host my free and paid course content or videos. I wanted to be able to host a community. And within the High Level Speakers platform, I have the ability to do all of that. So all of the pain points that are discussed in the High Level Speakers playbook and all the tools and assets needed, 99% of them live within one umbrella that is called the High Level Speakers platform. So that's just a little bit about that. What I do each and every day within this dashboard is I click on one of those things in red. The first one says performer follow-up. So that is someone who has reached out to us in the look stage. They're looking for one of my performers to come and do an event for their church or their organization. So I had emailed them a list of possible performers that are available on their date, and I'm waiting to hear back from them. So since I've not heard back from them yet, I need to send them an email follow-up. And then the cadence that I follow through here is I have this 3-part email sequence. So once I click on one of those tasks, it opens up the opportunity card and it tells me what I need to do. I like to send the first initial email to someone. They're in the looks category. They've contacted us or whatever. They want to know more about the possibilities of booking someone. I send them that initial email. If I don't hear back from them, I follow up usually within 7 days, no more than 14 days. Then after I send that first follow-up, if they've not responded, I send a final follow-up. And in the final follow-up, I just say, hey, I understand plans may have changed and now may not be the right time. And then here is the magic sentence. So if I don't hear from you, I'll assume your plans have changed and I'll go ahead and close out this email thread. And it is amazing to me the number of people who hear that I will close out this thread and the fear of missing out, they just are so terrified of missing out on something that they will usually respond. So that final email gets really a huge response. It's a huge open rate on that one and a response rate where they will email back and say, hey, sorry. It's usually one of two things. Sorry, I've been really, really busy and I just hadn't had a chance to respond. I am still interested. And if they say that, then I move them back to kind of that nurture email sequence. My goal, though, is still to get them on a phone call so we can have a conversation. If they say we checked and we just don't think now is the right time, or we found someone else, or whatever it is, then I will send them a response and just say, hey, thanks for getting back with me. We understand. And we would love to work with you in the future. So if your plans change or if there's ever anything we could do to serve you, we would love to help. And then I send that email. And then I wait a few days, usually 5 to 7 days, and then I just close out that opportunity. And within my CRM, there's an ability to leave every opportunity card open. But once the event has passed or the opportunity has passed, I really try to close that out to keep my leads pipeline full of just interested people looking to book me to speak. Don't be worried about unsubscribed or ghosted emails. If people unsubscribe or ghost you and don't respond, that's a good thing. That means they're not interested in having you and they're not, it's just not the right time for now. They may at some point in the future, but they may never do that as well. I don't ever really clean out the names within my CRM. There are people I've followed and not bought things for years. And then there are some that I follow and buy something immediately from them, but then unsubscribe because I've learned what I needed to learn. So don't be upset or downtrodden by unsubscribes or ghosted events. We have a number of clients who book us repeatedly year after year or for an event every January that they have, or every Easter or every Halloween. So within our agency for his kids, we do large scale kids and family events. So we have a number of churches that book us year in and year out to come in to speak to their people. They may want a different speaker each time, but the date and time range for that event happens every year. So what I do is when I close out Easter 26, open up a new opportunity card for that same client for Easter of 27. And then in the fall, I would send them a reminder email. Hey, Susie, really excited that we got to work together this past Easter. I know we're still several months out from Easter 27, but I wanted to see if you're ready to talk about possibilities for Easter 27. We'd love to help you and be a part of your event that's coming up. So what this does is just really keep you front of mind, and it helps them book someone and get their event nailed down so they're not last minute and miss out on an opportunity, because the people who speak and speak well, they get booked up in advance. So within my agency, there's 5 or 6 of us that get booked up long in advance. And so we want to just help our repeat customers find the person and make sure they're taken care of year after year. Now, I always get asked about automation and integration. Anytime someone fills out a form on our website, it does immediately put them into the looks category. And I could automate emails at that point and set out that whole 3-part email sequence and let it just run itself on its own. I personally don't like that because speaking is a relational business and I want to talk to people. I want to have my finger on the pulse of how people are flowing through the pipeline. So one automated response, and I'll do it playfully in my kind of playful tone of, hey, Derek, so excited that you filled out a form. I want you to know me and my kids, we stopped everything we're doing. We're currently dancing and doing backflips in the living room over the opportunity to be able to work with you. We're super excited. Can't wait to talk to you. This is an automated message, but just know we are pumped that you reached out and we'll be in touch soon. So something like that is something that I'm thinking of. But my platform does allow for all the integrations so that nothing is missed. So automate and integrate the things that you can, but also keep it personal so it's not robotic, so that the people you're communicating with know that you're talking to a real person. Because the reality is, once again, no one is going to book and pay you to speak thousands of dollars and not ever be able to communicate with you. It's just not going to happen. Another thing to keep in mind as you send out all the communication is to pronoun your communication. Now, this is something I learned when I went through the TEDx process of giving my TED Talks. Is one thing they encouraged us to do was pronoun our talk. And what that meant was write out your full script of your talk, and then you cut the number of I's or me or my by 50%. And then you do it again, and then you do it again. And what you find is when you reduce the times that you say I or me or my, you learn to rephrase your communication so that it's more inclusive. And what that keeps you from sounding like is someone just talking about yourself. And so, how that works in the context of speaking, you don't want to have an event planner call you and all you talk about is I do this, I do that, I do this, I do that. You want to talk about the nature of what you do and how it will help them accomplish their goal. So you're giving a talk or whatnot. It's not just about you being on stage, tooting your own horn. It's about how your content that you present on stage is going to help that event planner reach their goals. So that's what you want to think about doing. How can you pronoun your talk to reduce the times you say I or me? Be inclusive and say, we will help do this, our audience, things like that. And really, guys, fortune is in the follow-up. So choose a good CRM that will help you with that. Now, the call log that you see here, this is the actual book where it has the 10 or 15 questions I ask every time. And I just printed one up through my Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing account. It cost me like $3 to $5 to print a 300-page booklet with each page just has the 15 questions that I go through. Also, I'll just say you don't have to be perfect. The one screenshot you see on the right over here where it says false alarm, this is from someone who extremely successful entrepreneur, very successful, done a lot of great things, but they accidentally sent an email out a day early advertising for one of their webinars. Now, I saw this. I didn't get upset. I didn't unsubscribe or whatnot. I appreciated the fact that they sent an email and said, hey, oops, we made a mistake. So I tell you all of that to say you don't have to be perfect in this. Just be relatable, be kind, be understanding. And when you do, the right people who know, like, and trust you will want to work with you. Now, if you want a copy of all of Larry's emails and things that I send out, you can grab those by scanning that QR code right there. It's the same bundle from the first half of Larry's visibility engine, but I added to it all the email and nurture sequences that you would need to send out. Those are the exact emails I send out to every event that comes through our agency. So grab those and use them. This is where the leads pipeline is what moves you from theory to practice. If you want to be a speaker, this is what it takes. There is no magic bullet. There is no secret pill. There is no one widget to rule them all. It's all about getting the tools you need to grow and speak. It's all about putting out those assets that will get people into your playground, that will get them to start to know, like, and trust you so that they will book you and pay you at those higher fees that we're all looking for. So if you want to build a speaking business, this is what it takes. Now, I want to issue a little 3-day signal challenge. What I want each and every one of us to consider doing is put together 3 signals. It could be 3 emails. It could be 3 videos just shot with your iPhone. Doesn't have to be anything uber special. But think about your audiences. What are 3 pieces of content that you think would be a great help to your avatars? So 3 things we can put together: a video that we can send out in an email with an attachment PDF, 3 signals. Go into your ChatGPT thread or whatever AI thread you were using and ask for signal ideas, and then let that be kind of your brainstorm. But what I want you to do with the 3-day challenge is just email them to me, Clayton@ClaytonPoland.com. Email me your 3 signals. I just want you to get in the rhythm of sending out consistent signals. I won't share them with anyone. I just want you to get over that initial hurdle of sending out signals and content. You can send them 1 each day or send them all 3 together, just so you can get that initial hurdle accomplished. Why this matters is that without Larry's toolkit, you will remain invisible. You have to put into practice the visibility engine, sending out those assets, getting people to your site so they will exchange your information, and then you secure and nurture that relationship through your leads pipeline. You want to do that so that you become visible and become known in your space. Without Larry's toolkit, just the reality, guys, we're going to remain invisible. So that's it for Larry. We've talked about his visibility engine and the pipeline. Any questions, thoughts, comments, recipes?